Sadiq Khan is planning to end the prosecution of young people caught with cannabis in a move to decriminalize drugs in London, The Telegraph has learnt. Under 25s found with drugs in some boroughs will be offered speeding course-style classes or counselling instead of arrest, under a scheme that is expected to be launched later this year. 3 London boroughs, Lewisham, Bexley and Greenwich, would be initially subject to the rules of the new scheme, with police officers told not to arrest young people caught with cannabis, ketamine or speed. Offenders will instead be taken back to their family homes and kept away from police custody. The move will set Mr. Khan on a collision course with the government and Labour leadership, which have both stressed the need for tougher action on drug users to reduce demand for criminal activity. Sir Keir Starmer, a former director of public prosecutions, has said he does not believe decriminalisation should be pursued in England, after a similar scheme was introduced in Scotland last year. Mr. Khan may find an ally on the Labour frontbench in David Lammy, the shadow Foreign Secretary, who has previously endorsed a similar scheme, which he said would help tackle racial injustice. The government has recently unveiled its drugs strategy, which has a strong emphasis on targeting recreational users, including by removing the passports of those caught with Class A substances such as cocaine. Ministers have also allocated £780 million for drug treatment and recovery services, with new measures to stop young people taking illegal substances. A government source suggested Mr. Khan's scheme could face opposition from Tory ministers, after the Home Office promised to crack down on recreational drug use and ensure those who break the law face consequences. 2021 was the worst year for teenage killings in London, so decriminalising a major driver of youth violence probably isn't the answer, the source said. A Conservative source added that the plan was mad. Drug use is preventable and not inevitable. The Telegraph understands the pilot could be announced as soon as later this month, and will be spearheaded by Damien Egan, the mayor of Lewisham. The mayor's office said Mr. Khan was investigating various ways in which young people can be diverted away from low-level drug use by being better informed about its harm, adding that he believed drug use and its related crimes are preventable and not inevitable. We know that we'll never be able to simply arrest our way out of the problem, which is why we continue to work on schemes that provide young people with support and education, rather than simply putting them through the criminal justice system with the aim of diverting them away from drug use and crime for good, a spokesman said. The London Mayor's team has seen research claiming that police time would be better spent on serious and violent crime, rather than dealing with those caught with Class B substances. Between 2016 and 2020, 9 in 10 drug proceedings brought against young people in Lewisham were for cannabis possession, while young black men in the borough were 2.4 times more likely to be stopped and searched for drugs in the same period. During his last election campaign, Mr. Khan pledged to set up a London Drugs Commission to review whether cannabis possession should be decriminalised. However, under the plans presented to his police and crime team, The Telegraph understands that the amnesty may extend to all Class B drugs, which would also effectively decriminalize ketamine and amphetamines, known as speed. Young people diverted to drugs courses. Although carrying the drugs would technically remain illegal, the Metropolitan Police is understood to have agreed that officers will not pursue drug charges against people caught in the 3 boroughs in South London participating in the scheme. Instead, under a process known as diversion, young people will instead be offered a course to educate them on the dangers of drug use, similar to that offered to motorists who have been caught speeding. Youth workers, rather than the police, will lead the rehabilitation process, with under 25s also offered counseling if necessary. Similar schemes have previously been trialled by police and crime commissioners in Somerset, Durham, and in the West Midlands, but the latest pilot will be the first of its kind in the capital. The move comes after the Met Police released a promotional video showing its officers swabbing the public for drugs in Shoreditch last month. Officers swabbed 250 people on the door of 2 licensed premises on 2 evenings in December, with drinkers told they could not enter the bars unless they had been tested. 15 people were searched, and 1 woman was arrested on suspicion of possession of Class A drugs. The Met said the patrol was designed to deal with a spike in incidents where women and girls have been made to feel unsafe or have been victims of crime.